Hey everybody, this is Peter. Thanks for joining me at Our Worship Sound. Wanted to share another Sunday reflection with you. So many things on my mind and to think about, to share, but we had a really great time in worship this morning and just a really awesome presence of God this morning. So our team did really well this morning. Something that's been really just kind of heavy on my heart and my mind this weekend. There's something that came up in our community in our city this week relative to racial issues. And if you follow me on Twitter, you know that I'm fairly kind of into this whole realm of racial reconciliation. I've been part of a multi-ethnic church for about 20 years now, and so this is something that's become kind of central to who I am as a person, really important to me. And just had some thoughts as our community was wrestling with some things this past week. Number one, I think it's going to be really unhelpful to us if we try to centralize this discussion around flags or anthems or kneeling or anything. I think when we get and I'm not trying to comment on which protests are okay and which are not. I see different sides of it, but I think ultimately it's going to be really unhelpful if we try to base our discussion around that. I just think we need to dig deeper, and I'll kind of share how in a second. But I also think that from a worship music ministry perspective, I think it's also we need to move past thinking that doing a song from a different ethnicity or doing it in the style of a different ethnicity, it's a good thing. Having diversity on our platform is a good thing. But if we're stopping there, I think we're really kind of doing a disservice to ourselves and to what Christ wants to do in our congregations. And what we need to do is we need to be willing to dig deeper and to build relationships with people who are not like us. Because there's real injustice out there. There's real hurt. There's real pain. There are real stories behind all these different movements and protests. And so much of the problem that I see is people arguing from a standpoint of what theoretically is correct or incorrect. And where this really plays out is not only on an institutional level, but on an interpersonal level. And as I process the different things that are happening, that were happening in our community this week, my heart just goes back to how are my relationships with the people involved, and how can I represent them? How can I carry the heart of God toward them? And so I want to really kind of challenge you that if you're kind of shouting from the sidelines on these issues, I want you to get involved. You need to build relationships with people who are not like you, and be willing to listen to people's stories. Be willing to listen to their pain, instead of just kind of arguing a position based on what kind of the background that you're from. And so I do want to challenge you in that. I want to give you a real specific call to action too, and that is not only to pray, of course, that needs to be our first reaction, and to be reflective about where Christ would have us in these situations, but to really help you grow. There's a specific person on Twitter. He's a pastor in Queens, New York. His name is Rich Viotas, and if you, I'll put the link to his Twitter account. But he's really helped me to. He does a really good job of articulating his thoughts on these issues, and some of the thoughts I've shared in this video are directly from some tweets that he posted yesterday. But even for someone who's been in this, in this kind of course of study, I guess, for the last 20 years, he's really ahead of the game, and he's really helped me to kind of put some things in perspective. So, finally, I would just say that. And as he put in some tweets yesterday, we need to see racial reconciliation as central to the gospel and not something that's just, it's not peripheral. Christ wants to more than just save us as individuals. He's here to reconcile all things. And we need to dig into this. This is something that we need to work on. So let's press into what God has for us. Let's seek after his heart, and be a part of what he wants to do. That's it for this Sunday. Actually, that's not it. There's one more, but I'll share this in a different video, a different technical thing that I learned this morning. So, and this is the only one you watch. That's it, and we'll see you next Sunday. Have a great week.